It's been 6 grueling, relentless, record-breaking weeks, and the TikTok Women's Six Nations has arrived at its final destination. As ever, it's crunch time for the title, Le Crunch Time, between France and England.
The 2022 Women's Six Nations. Its own time to shine, its own place in the sun. Glass ceilings, well, they've been smashed. Record crowd after record crowd. It's been different, but the same. England on the march, unbeaten so far, going for 4 straight titles. One team stand in their way, France, with their own Grand Slam dreams. We've been here before, a rivalry for the ages. It's time to go again. Le Crunch.
Well, the last time England lost in the Women's Six Nations was a full 4 years ago, but it was away and it was in France. They've been acclimatising on the French Atlantic coast in Bayonne all week to try and avoid that kind of result, tripping up their Grand Slam dreams. And I'm delighted to say acclimatising to the northwest of England have been World Cup winners Maggie Alfonsi and Katie Daly-McLean. Not so much Katie, she's local, she's used to it in these parts. Maggie, these are the 2 premier teams in World Rugby. They're going to meet each other again later in the year in the World Cup as well. How France would love to spoil England's Grand Slam dreams and win their own and kind of draw first blood in this important year.
Yeah, I mean, look, I believe that this French side can actually beat England. Look, over the last 2 years, this French side have been the only side that really pushed England. And the last 3 test matches between these 2 sides, the winning margin has been 4 points or less. So I believe this is going to be a massive test for England, and they're going to have to come out of the firing at their very best.
Well, of course, they haven't had it all their own way this week, England. Captain Sarah Hunter, of course, injured and out, but with the squad over there. And then Poppy Cleall carrying this calf injury, struggling during the week, but in the starting lineup today. A lot of chatter around whether that is a risk Simon Middleton shouldn't have taken.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? We've talked about losing Sarah Hunter is vital, not just for her playing ability, but for her leadership. Poppy Cleall carrying a bit of a niggle, like we know, this calf injury. Obviously, he's gone through a fitness test, but it's huge for England, and you're going to want to see Poppy carry today. That gain line is going to be a huge source of possession between France and England.
And where else are England going to have to watch out for France's strength, Maggie? Because set pieces is very impressive. They've been good in the line out. Where is the crunch area in Le Crunch?
I'm going to say the scrum, the battle up front. So if you look at the French side, against Wales, they won 6 scrum penalties and they've had a 97% success rate. So I do think that's one area England are going to have to target because they weren't that great last weekend, especially in the first half.
Took them a while, didn't it, to settle into the scrummaging. Ireland really got the better of them in the early scrums. Of course, both teams, France and England, have improved over the last few years their kicking game, and it's become a weapon, certainly, for England. France will today also be looking to take advantage when it comes to territory. The kicking game could be the area, Maggie thinks, up front, but it could be the area that those margins are won.
They join together a little bit more. I think what teams want is you want possession in attacking 22 situations, and that's what's huge. If England get good territory and they sort their set piece, they'll go well. If France do the same, it could be a very difficult test for England.
OK, well, as much as we're loving being in the northwest of England, our team there in Bayonne are gearing up and absorbing the atmosphere. Sonia McLaughlin and Rachel Burford are pitchside.
Well, hello from a very lively Stade Jean Duget, where there is a real frisson in the air that only comes with what is a really huge test match. We've got red, white and blue flags, the brass bands, and a pretty hostile atmosphere guaranteed if you happen to be wearing white. Look, Rachel, you've played in a Grand Slam decider in France. What's it going to be like for this England team coming into a cauldron like this with so much at stake?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some nerves naturally, but more so excitement. The opportunity to play in front of this kind of crowd in France, Grand Slam decider. This is what the players want. They love the opportunity to play in France. You ask most players, this is the place you want to be playing.
We noticed in the crowd that there's so few England fans here. How can England actually feed off this febrile atmosphere to their benefit today?
Yeah, look, I think England will want to use the energy from the crowd. You know, they will lift their French team. They will do everything they can to give them that extra little lift. But England will live off that. They'll thrive off that. And they'll want to use that energy into their own game.
It's going to be so exciting, isn't it? It's one of those games that doesn't come around very often. And coach Simon Middleton knows exactly the threat that this French side pose.
I just think they're just a great all-round side. You know, they've got running threats. They've got a very physical pack. They're going to have 10, 12,000 fans behind them, so the atmosphere will lend itself to that. Yeah, I mean, there's threats from everywhere. Poppy have done a great job getting ready this week, and you know, Poppy's as ready as she could possibly be, and so are all the rest of the players. So no, it's no more of a risk than one or two others that we're taking. You know, every time you do selection, you take a certain risk on things. So no, we're really happy with the selection, and great that Poppy's with us.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, he looks very relaxed, doesn't he, Simon Middleton? Overall, France haven't scored as many tries in the Championship as England, but in a player, the scrum half Sonsu, they have someone who has been a try-scoring machine, certainly the last 3 games, 2 in each of those games. We've got to keep our eye on her today.
Yeah, she's a little pocket rocket. I mean, she's an outstanding player. A lot of people compare her to Anton Dupont, you know, from the men's side. And one of the things that she does very well is that she's very quick around the breakdown. So England will have to be on their best game to make sure they defend her, because she's very good at winning those penalties.
Yeah, she just sees those holes, doesn't she? She's a great player, exciting player to watch. Already, I think it's going to be a big day for the back row, isn't it, for what you've both been saying? But that's another area they're going to have to work so hard.
Yeah, I think if you look at both teams, they want to play quick ball, and quick ball is one at the breakdown. So the likes of Marley Packer, Gail Hamir are going to have a field day. I think if the breakdown becomes loose and the referee allows it to breathe, I think we could see some really, really interesting decisions there.
Well, not many England fans have made that journey to Bayonne today, according to Sonia. She's not seen too many white shirts. We saw a few there. The atmosphere, though, promises to be incredible. It is a wonderful denouement to this Six Nations Championship. Our commentary team, Brian Moore, Rachel Burford and Sarah Orchard are ready and waiting.
Thanks, Gabby. Well, welcome to the south of France, the picturesque city of Bayonne. And as you can see, England are starting to make their way out onto the pitch. I can tell you for free that the crowd is 99% French. They are noisy and they do not like those players who are about to appear in white. You can see at the front there for England, Worcester's Alex Matthews, who will lead out England today on the occasion of her 50th cap. There is a polite applause that comes around from the crowd. Alex Matthews, she's a flip between 7s and 15s throughout her career, has decided now to focus on the fact that she is going to be a 15s player in the build-up to the World Cup. As the rest of the England team come out of the dressing room, of course led by Emily Scarrett in the absence of Sarah Hunter. You can see France there, just getting ready. Pretty calm conditions in Bayonne today. It's around 16 degrees. At times a little bit overcast, but there isn't too much of a breeze, so it shouldn't cause too many issues for the kickers. Well, you can hear the sound now coming around the stadium. They know that the French are about to appear. They're making England wait, and they do not mind. Jessie Tremoulière, winning her 70th cap today, leads out the French. One of the most decorated women in rugby union. Former World Player of the Year. Also Player of the Decade. But here come the rest of the French team. France have actually won 21 of their last 22 Six Nations matches on home soil, and the partisan crowd here, they are used to victory and could well be the 16th woman today. But rugby will now make it stand against racism and show its support for Ukraine. You'll now have the national anthems, starting with God Save the Queen.
Et maintenant, and now,
Next
la
we will have the
Marseillaise.
Marseillaise. We are closing in. Kickoff is not far away. This is the French head coach Annie Caron's selection. 2 changes to her starting 15 in the forwards as Blagnac's Audrey Folani starts in the second row. That pushes Céline Ferret into the back row, and Julie Annery, as a result, is pushed onto the bench. Meanwhile, in the backs, the Rennes fly half. Caroline Drouin, she's back from a knee injury that saw her miss the games with Wales and Scotland. It's that half-back pairing with the leading tournament try scorer, Laure Sansu. She's touched down 6 times so far. As for England, Simon Middleton makes only 1 change, and it's in the forwards. Saracens' Poppy Cleall wears 8, with Sarah Hunter out injured. Hooker Lark Davis and lock Abby Ward, 2 of only 3 red roses to start every game. While in the backs, no changes, as Loughborough Lightning's Helena Rowland continues to wear 15, only her 2nd start for England at fullback. As we move on to the replacements bench, keep an eye out for Yolana Brosso. She can make her first Six Nations appearance of the campaign for France, with England opting for that 6-2 split on the bench, with Beckett and Cabea both available. Well, as you can see, France have really taken their time to get in at position here, just hanging out on the England side of the field. A very good afternoon to Brian Moore and Rachel Burford. As they just line up there, what are you making of this atmosphere, Brian Moore?
Well, it is a tremendous atmosphere, but England won't want that to continue. They want to quieten them as much as they can. When Emily Scarrett chose to play this way, the sun wasn't out, but it is now, and it's quite low.
Well, our referee today is Scotland's Holly Davidson, and we are just 80 minutes away until someone is a Grand Slam champion. Winner takes all in the south of France. There is Holly Davidson, and we're about to get underway. Someone's taking home a trophy, but it can only be one, as Poppy Cleall of Saracens. So much focus on her this week with that injury to her calf. She's there on the field and starting as Scarrett clears down the field. Jacquet, a real bright young thing as Jacquet. She passes out wide to Philippon. Always wearing the scrum cap with the socks around her ankles. Sansus early on the ball there, pushing out towards the edges. Drouin looks up, assesses her options. Turnover ball for England. Here comes Byrne. Not clear there. Harrison decides to opt to send it into the sky. Jacquet. This could well be an interesting kicking battle, and you can tell there that England were forced to turn. Rowland did well there, but under a lot of pressure. Looked like England weren't quite ready for the length of that kick. Infante looks up, there's Ward. Bristol player, really has shone throughout this Six Nations campaign for England as Harrison sends it back to Jacquet. There could be so much of this afternoon. It's England who are being pushed backwards at the moment as Rowland isn't there. It comes down to Harrison. Did she knock that one on? She did. The mistake comes from England, and it will be France that get the field position.
Yeah, not often you see Zoe Harrison making a mistake in the backfield there, but on 2 occasions you normally see England being able to exit, good clarity, but we spoke earlier about the crowd, the noise that it brings. Got to make sure that players in the right position to get a clear exit. And now this gives France a great early opportunity.
Well, not a knock-on from the initial contact, but just as you saw, just on the goal line. This is a huge scrum for both sides. Get it in the referee's mind that you are on top and everything else will flow.
Okay. You need to keep that weight back, yeah?
Well, England will have been thinking about this moment since this match last year. It was played out at the Twickenham Stoop. As much as England came away with the Six Nations title, France certainly had the upper hand that day at the set piece, the scrum in particular. Free kick, England going early here, Sansus, still Sansus. Ménager is there waiting, Hermé, the captain's digging out the ball, they're screaming for it. It is Romain Ménager who powers forward, the Montpellier number 8. Big passes out wide, they decide to opt for Joyeux. England will not have been under this kind of pressure throughout the whole competition. What a run! And it's over from Ménager! France have turned up to play, first on the scoreboard, and it's game on in the south of France.
Well, I know that England have been working on their guard and bodyguard there, but because the run came from so late and was from a delayed player, they couldn't spot that. Nobody laid a hand.
Great, so just keep repeating what you're saying, okay? Yeah, great.
Smart thinking from Susanne there, just playing the quick tap off the free kick. Just lovely little play. I think it's Vic Cornborough just gets her eye line in front. And then Ménager just comes through. You're not going to stop her from there.
Romain Ménager really announced herself on the world stage at the 2017 World Cup. She actually got injured towards the end of the tournament, but she was already very much in everyone's thoughts as Drouin, back from injury herself. She slots the extras. And England are behind. This is not a position they will be used to.
Well, some of us, in fact, a lot of us were calling for England to have more competition. They've certainly got it now. Test of their mettle, and let's see how they respond.
You can see England, they're giving themselves that 10-metre run up behind Zoe Harrison from the restart. Goes back to Jacquet. And Jacquet is going to kick all day long. Rowland is going to have to get used to that. Remember, this is only the second time we're seeing Helena Rowland play 15 for England. Big hits coming in. You see Medusa fall there with the tackle on Byrne. Harrison. There's Packer. Infante, Harrison, Scarrett. Double tackles going in on the England captain. Davis. Loughborough Lightning hooker takes it to ground. Harrison, she's going to kick across the field, sending it to Jacquet, reads it well. Oh, she's sending that one to herself. Couldn't collect. First time England have really had the ball now inside of the French half, but only just. Cleal crossing, French penalty.
Well, another unforced error after the knock-on, setting England back, and it's the sort of thing where this is the area of accuracy and concentration that they need to cut out. Don't need to give the French any more encouragement than they've already got.
Just slight indecision there, then just makes Marley Packer overrun Poppy.
Two Saracens teammates there, just almost confusing themselves. Poppy Plew who had the ball. Packer was trying to run that dummy, just all a little bit slow and laboured. Another strong field position here for the French, just outside of the English 22. Stolen ball, Aldcroft took it. And an English penalty, and from the set piece, they will take great heart from that one small moment.
Yes, they will. It wasn't just a combination. Well, the hooker will get the blame for the underthrow, but the lift was very laboured, and the French jumper needs to get in the air a lot quicker up and down.
Yes, one, get there.
So another line out, this time it's English, and Aldcroft takes again, it slips through her fingers, Packer tidies up, Infante, Harrison, eyes on the ball, Aitchison feeds Scarrett. Harrison again, they've managed to reset themselves. Rowland couldn't get a clean pass away, it's messy. Boujard, out to Drouin, Drouin with the hack on. Harrison's had to get back there, but just straight out there by the French. You can just feel the pressure of that defence just pounding down on England.
Yeah, this game is going to be so much about the physicality, and France are bringing so much of that right now.
Both these sides have had really good success from their rolling mauls throughout this campaign. Be another badge of honour, whoever can hold on to their ball in these situations. The warning comes in, Harrison, Cleal. Two French women to bring her down. Harrison. Boujard is there, can't take. Lost a lot of time there. Jess Breach is there. She's got herself stuck on the wrong side. Taken through this time by Vernier. Box kick comes in from Sansus. England just setting themselves that little bit deeper now. Crossfield kick read nicely by Rowland. She gets the bounce.
And she gets a 50-22 as well, which means England will have the line out, the first opportunity with a good field position, and they need to beat this count not only by getting possession initially, but I think by driving the French pack backwards and giving their backs room.
Yeah, brilliant execution from Rowland there. Just looks up, sees that Jacquet is on the left-hand side of the field, and there's a huge open space.
Best position for England so far in the fixture. Clark Davis of Loughborough is used to being in these driving positions at the back, pushing it on. Infante, they're screaming at the forwards about where she wants it to go. Recycling over the top of the French players. This is good and strong. There's the penalty advantage as well. Infante goes on her own. Picked again. Here comes Cleal. Still with work to do. Packer. Cornborough is screaming for it. The French have got hands over the top of that. They'll come back for the penalty. The warning there against the loose head and Alday, and it looks like Alex Matthews might have to go and have a little bit of treatment off the field for that eye. I'm not sure the referee has spotted it yet.
Okay. Good blood. Time off, blood for number 6. Number 1, changing lines.
Well, they might just try and tidy this up on the field. It doesn't look at the moment like they're going to send Alex Matthews off to go and have that dealt with. But this is the first time we've really seen in this fixture England have that pressure, as we just see Dimitri Yashvili there. One of the French
Yeah,
internationals
Thank you.
supporting the women. First time that we have seen England under real pressure in a fixture.
Yes, and I think they've just about settled down now. Early on in the first 10, you were seeing them make unnecessary and uncharacteristic mistakes because they were rushing things. And when you're under pressure and the crowd are there, you think you've got less time than you actually do have. And now they've settled down and played to the patterns, then it should come better. As I tell you what, it's a good job for France that penalty was given away, because she was the person that actually tackled the ball carrier, and England would have been over the line with that.
I didn't realise there was blood.
Well, that was Abby Ward going up in the air there. Of course, these are all the pictures we get from our French TV colleagues throughout this fixture. And the big shove that eventually, you can see De Gea there, who was working our way around.
So if you guys paint a good picture,
Changed bind 3 times.
It's easy for me if they stay.
A lot of discussion so far in this fixture, Rachel Burford, has been about the kicking, and you can see that England are having to set deeper.
Yeah, they know that France have plenty of kicking threats across the back three, but also in the midfield. They've got to make sure that they're sitting there anticipating, especially Sansus. Kicks off the cuff, but really well marked there by Zoe Harrison and Helena Rona.
Important for England to be patient here. Good field position, must come away with something.
Matthews has it, she feeds it to the back, it'll be Davis. France hold it, but you just feel that's still edging from England. Now is Byrne. Are they going to have to give it to Infante? France are throwing everything at this to stop it moving. It's Joyeux who's working her way round, but it's still moving from England. Is it over? Try!
And that is exactly what England needed. A disciplined, well set up, well established drive, keeping the ball away from the French. Sarah Byrne, who is a great ball handler anyway, but staying in the pocket and making sure she wasn't able to be grabbed by any French defender. The important thing here is to set the drive up properly before it goes forward. You can see everyone in there, and unless the French change their binds, which they're not allowed to do, then they can't get near any of the England ball carriers.
Sarah Byrne touching down there, the Bristol prop. Her 20th try in an England shirt now. As Emily Scarratt lines up this conversion. It's going to be an interesting battle today, because it's actually Jessie Tremoulière who's on 32 points, is the leading points kicker, so points taker, I should say, in this Six Nations tournament. Scarratt is about to level if she gets this. And the flags fly in France, and they are level pegging.
That's a great response from England. That will definitely settle them, knowing that if they can ping France in the corners, they can go to work with their driving maul and come away with points. Really well executed.
Real pressure there on Abby Ward in the air. Flying in there by Céline Ferrer. Packer. It's loose on the floor. Infante gets it back to Scarratt. Drouin can't take. That was scuttering along the floor. She's under pressure now by Breach. There's Jacquet, and Breach again is making herself busy and a nuisance.
It's outside.
Sansus. Scarratt. Happy to take that one into trouble. Cleel. Infante finds Cornborough. Well, French player straight off her feet there. This is a free hit then for England. Aldcroft, look at her pumping those legs. Harrison, far side, Rowland is there, goes to that little hitch kick, still Rowland goes. Bundle that on the far side, but England with the penalty in the pack pocket.
Much better attack from England. Zoe Aldcroft just getting on the outside break. Vernier does really well to bring her down, but that's the front foot, that's the physicality that England need to be able to break France and then take on some opportunities on the outside.
You see Leanne Infante there. You might not have heard this. Very clever play, though, because as she was sweeping for the ball, she said to the referee, have we still got it? Meaning, have we still got the advantage? So she knows she's got to play to nothing. And that indeed is what happened.
Davis, long pass to the back. Really good arrows. England a long way out, but this is where the first try for them came from.
You haven't changed.
It's moving slowly, still in the right direction. France will want to stop this.
No, she's bound in. Advantage collapsed by 7.
It's a penalty advantage to England. Infante tries to switch direction, read beautifully by Agatha Sochat.
Onside, onside.
Harrison manages to find Scarrett, just trying to take that sneaky inside line. Harrison again pushing towards Rowland. Rowland seems to be an ongoing option, just coming into the line. Aldcroft. The blue wall is holding for now. Cleo with the pass out to Scarrett. Here's Breach, she's working in a real tight channel. Gives it to Matthews. Eventually they come back for the penalty, and they're going to maybe have a little word here with France.
Captain. Where's Gail? Three quick maul infringements, offside, changing bine, and then collapsed by 7. Nothing more at the maul. Your bine is fine, okay, but you cannot then collapse. I don't collapse? Yeah. Collapse. 7.
Well, once again, the conversations will rage about referees being unable to speak French. Gail Hermé, she can speak a little bit of English, but it is an ongoing problem in the game.
Yes, it is an ongoing problem. It's difficult for the French.
England have taken this one pretty fast, taken by Ward in the air. It's Byrne who has it at the moment. Davis is there as an option as well.
Needs to be brought further back so the referee can see it.
Davis has it as well. It's another advantage to England. Davis was there.
Someone's going to the bin after this.
It is just on the edge. England sneak round the corner. It's touchdown. It looks like it's Abby Ward who's got that one. They had the penalty advantage. Doesn't look like Holly Davidson, our referee, is going to give any more, but England ahead for the first time in the match.
And in some senses, I think the French are probably fortunate that England scored that, because had they not, I'm sure someone would have gone to the bin, and then they would have had 10 minutes, you know, with a player down. But England have settled into this game, and they've kept the game tight. And the French have had to do a lot of tackling in the last 10, 15 minutes.
Well, Rachel Burford, you spoke in the build-up to this fixture about silencing the crowd. Seems to be doing it at the moment.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah, it'd be something that England will want to keep doing throughout the game.
Okay, perfect.
Keep the crowd quiet, just keep the momentum in their favour. You can see England's intent already. Get a penalty not far out from the sticks, but go to the corner.
Well, Scarrett's bought her kicking boots, and she now leads the point scoring across the whole of the Six Nations, now up to 34. It's an unofficial award she has had as being the top point scorer in the Six Nations on many occasions. If she manages to achieve that today, it will be on the 6th occasion that she'll take that honour. Cleo. That's loose. France are going to have to be a little bit careful here. The crowd are angry. They'll feel like everything is going against them at the moment, but that was Celine Ferrer, who was playing in the second row last week.
Well, everything is going against them, but that's because they keep committing penalties.
Penalties now, yes? Penalties. Yeah. You need to improve discipline.
Unable to be taken cleanly there, and Infante knocks on at the back. The referee says no. She thinks it's backwards. It looked like quite a clear knock on. Packer, England get away with one. Rowland, low scuddering kick. Jacquet,
Inside.
Leon fullback. Finds her opposite number. Rowland again. Holdcroft finds Packer. Forwards linking together. Harrison, Cleal. Harrison looks up. Here comes Aitchison. That one's bobbled out of nowhere. France just cannot get their hands on the ball. Eventually a decision goes their way.
She's played it again. Off the head.
It has come off, so we get a French scrum.
Off the head, blue scrum. Accidental.
First
offside.
time we've seen Holly Aitchison on the ball. Just really good work from Boujard to come in, make the read. Just a couple of fumbling errors from England, just feeling the pressure.
Well, you could see a couple there. First of all, that was not straight against England, and then it was knock on. Well, those territory stats, that's what Simon Middleton wanted. 2/3, 1/3.
And it's France who are making all the tackles as well. They're over 50 already with 20 minutes on the clock. Probably wants to do a little bit less defending, as you can just see Sarah Byrne there. Couldn't quite get down against Anel Dehay, Leon Lucet.
Let's go, let's go.
France have had a 97% success rate with their own scrums throughout this Six Nations. The best of any team. Oh, you can feel that pressure pounding down on those women's shoulders as it comes back the French way. Jacquet. As the sun just peeps out from behind the clouds as Rowland gathers. Jacquet again. Lydia Thompson can't take. She's the last one to touch the ball as well, and that's a lovely field position for the French, all made by Chloe Jacquet.
Well, similar to the first try, it's a mistake from England that gives France the field position. From their point of view, they really need to record something here, or at least have a period where they stay in the England 22 and force errors.
Oh, no surprise that the band has decided to play a tune. Stade Bordelais' Agatha Sochat ready to get the ball in. Oh, complete missed throw there by France. Lost opportunity. Allcroft says, thank you, I'll have that. Harrison sends the ball flying.
Well, it wasn't just a missed throw, it was a complete miscommunication all the way along the line.
Put White on the line, Maria.
When nobody gets off the ground, you know that the call's gone completely wrong. And that's the sort of thing you cannot afford in a game against an England team that has scored so many points, has been so dominant. You can't waste those chances.
Sochat with another chance then. She actually missed a game at the start of the Six Nations because her partner gave birth. Congratulations to them as that line-out also works out. Sansus. Drouin. Here comes Fall. Forlani over the top there as well, wearing the red scrum cap. Down the line. Change of direction by Vernier. Sansus. Well, it's high, not really any distance on it, but it doesn't matter to Romain Marmaget. Right place, right time. Holding on the floor. The crowd don't like it. England don't care.
She's onside to start. She's on and offside.
Often on a kick like that, everybody stops and stands still, but Menage gets in and over it. But what about that from Helena Roland? Gets in over the ball. You know, these are the chances that France have to take. When they've got the ball, they have to look after it, because England's defence has been relentless throughout this campaign.
It's just a glimpse there of the sort of damage that Laurie Sansus can do.
Yeah, she is a wonderful player. Slightly hampered at the moment by that penalty count we just saw flash up. 6 penalties against France, 1 against England. As Thompson gets on the ball, she's scored 5 times already in this Six Nations, and she's off. The jet shoes are on. Runs into Boujar. Aldcroft. Just slightly caught there around the neck, deals with it well. Infante just calming things. Davis. Infante still there. Another England penalty, and this could be trouble for France.
No, time's off. The amount of penalties now is too much. Warning from all. This is now general infringement. Okay? Do you want to speak?
Okay, well, no card, but that is France's final warning.
Yes, not the most popular decision I've ever heard from the reception, but look, the stats are there. And of course, England now are going to test that mettle even further, because if they have a catch and drive, very difficult. Not rolling away far on the ground there.
England go in, make no mistake. That line out is functioning for them. At the back again, Byrne is in there. And that's still moving for England. They don't care how they score tries as long as they score. That's Byrne again. And France have got a long way to get back into this now. There are boos all the way around the ground, but it is England who are on top.
It is actually very difficult to stop a proper driving maul. It's very difficult to stop it illegally. You've got to play usually right on the edge, and when you're on a final general team warning, you just can't do that. And France, no matter how they tried there, they just could not manufacture a defence. And England have put them to sword 3 times, and that's all they need. Because the stress will come now. They're having to do more tackling, and therefore the breakdowns are going in England's favour. It's as simple as this. If you go forward, you nearly get all the decisions.
That's good, and Emily Scarrett doesn't care how much booing she gets this afternoon. It appears that the Red Roses are in France to do a job.
Absolutely, it's all business right from the warm-up, from the get-go. They know exactly their game plan and how to execute it.
Nashvili continues to look on. Someone might need some words of wisdom for the French at half-time. Packer. Infante, Harrison. Jacquet, that's a costly mistake. She's been faultless so far this afternoon. Just a little bit of pressure under that high ball. Finally tells.
Yeah, she has been doing so well so far, but that one just took too much from her. England could have actually probably put it through the hands. They had an overlap with 3 players. But they talked about that territorial battle, putting pressure on that backfield, pinning France down in the corner. And they find themselves in a great position again.
I do think the French have a case on 3 or 4 occasions for being unlucky with some of the referees' decisions, but not on the occasions of the bigger penalties which have come, which have been fully justified. So I don't think the misfortune that they feel they've had visited on them is actually correct.
Well, that has gone down. England still deploy. Scarrett then to Rowland. Breach is there, still Breach. She's trying to hand off back inside. A real tricky pass for Rowland to take, does well. Aldcroft, current World Player of the Year on the ball. Harrison, good run by Ward. Harrison out to Packer. It's Davis there now. France penalty, holding on the floor by Lark Davis. And the French will celebrate that because it's been a tough 20 minutes.
Yeah, they'll take a lot of energy from getting that turnover. You know, England are normally really relentless in this area, being really direct, but Lark Davis just gets her body into the wrong position that allows for Duran to get over and clamp onto the ball and get her team up the pitch.
Once again, Sochat to get the ball in. She's actually an occupational therapist, Sochat. She actually spent the pandemic working at a hospital in Montpellier. As we just see the other ménager in the form of Marine. There's twins out there. One's a wing, one's a number 8. Another France penalty.
Is it in the line out or after I'd said finish, Maria? In the line out? It's on the 15 or here? Okay, on the 15. One side entry.
Referee just clarifying there, because if it was in the maul, it would have been with less of an angle. Because it was committed in the line out, the penalty is given 15 metres in, which gives a much better angle to touch, and that's a good touch find.
Sansusi was on the breakaway. She got absolutely flipped there into the side. She will be a marked woman today. Something England have spoken about in the build-up is making sure she doesn't get any oxygen in this game. Sochat manages to find Fulani. And can France play a little bit of England's game here? It's Abby Ward who's over the top, causing problems. Sochat releases. Here comes Vernier. Philippon screaming for it, keeps it tight. At the moment, Boujar is hanging out on the wing. Keep it tight in the forwards, Dehay. Strong run by the Lyon prop, Drouin. Oh, couldn't quite be taken there by Vernier, all backwards. Sansus, they decide to kick through. Roland will watch that slowly go into touch. A nice passage of play by the French, but ultimately an English line out.
It was, and I feel that Sansus just felt she'd run out of options. But surely the better option, bearing in mind they hadn't had the ball for such a long time, would simply keep the ball in hand and put pressure on England.
They're actually down in the corner by the dancing chicken that you can't quite see because of where they are. But Sansus has managed to steal that one. They managed to snipe round the corner. This is a wonderful position for the French. They'll need to make this count. Sansus wants Fall out of there. She wants her as a running option. Well read by the white shirts of England. Sansus again, she's marshalling her women so well. Back to Drouin, crossfield kick. It's high, it's lingering. Roland takes, calls the mark. And they're going to come back for the penalty. Well, the warning there is against Marley Packer, not rolling away. And as much as we've been talking about French discipline, when you're in that red zone, England will have to be equally as careful right now.
Just off the line, off the line.
Big moment then for the French. A try now would make a big difference. Time off though. Just giving a little bit of treatment there to Celine Ferret. That was the little break by Sansus. Her footwork exceptional. So many comparisons to her game to that of her male equivalent in Antoine Dupont. Such is the impact that she has on the game. You can see there in the background that there's a whole stand there that's being rebuilt. This capacity of the stadium was meant to be 18,000, but that has run late. So it's only around 11,000 who are actually allowed in today. A real shame because the French Federation were very convinced they would have been able to sell that out. Ongoing treatment there to Ferret and her scrum cap. But playing in France with Rachel Burford, for years, it was the place to come because they're so vociferous about their women's rugby. But in this Six Nations, we've seen England catching up.
Absolutely, and more often than not, you say you want to play in France. But I feel like the English fans are now turning that tide with the records that we've set in recent times.
Sochat goes in, it's Forlani in the air. They spun that one round. This is good from the French, this is strong. Somehow England stopped that. It's rolling on the floor. It looks like penalty advantage. Someone could be going to the bin. Sansus wants it, but as Poppy Cleal appears to be slightly still coming.
Now you have advantage.
Hermé, Sansus tries to go on her own. Sansus is there, held over the line. They'll come back.
And I would think there'll be a general warning now.
Well, it looks like Lark Davis is down injured at the moment, so there will be a pause here. Another penalty, though, for England in the same area. Discipline for England has been good so far this Six Nations. No yellow cards. France have had yellow, 3 yellows and 1 red.
Well, I know England haven't transgressed as much as France had in those areas, but bearing in mind they've come very close to the line, I am surprised there isn't some form of warning here.
You're just feeling the momentum shift. 2 penalties for France, find themselves in England's 22. First time we've really seen their line-out function properly.
Well, when you look at where we are on the clock, just 5 minutes before half-time, it's absolutely crucial that France record a score here because it'll be a huge psychological threat for England to go in having defended this 14-point lead.
Now, the player who was down there actually receiving treatment was Poppy Cleal. You can see there she got a little bit frustrated in this altercation on the bottom right of your screen. A little bit of an arm slap went up to Forlani.
Well, Forlani is not allowed to pull a player out of the maul to start off.
Doesn't look like Holly Davison is going to review it.
The TMO said nothing.
So the TMO has said it is nothing. Play continues. And France still 5 meters out. Well, it's Forlani who takes it again. And they've recycled round the corner here, the French. Allcroft is in there causing a problem. but it's still French ball. It's broken away by Forlani. Byrne is doing everything she can to stop that. Joya with the pass to Ménager. Total composure required by the French in this position. Forlani appears to be the go-to woman right now. Opposite direction, this time they opt for Boujard. That's loose ball, another French penalty, and let's listen in.
Same message as they got up there. 3 quick penalties in the 22. Discipline needs to improve. Yep.
Now, does that count? Does that count as a Rich? Does that count as a general warning, or what?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think referees, when they're giving you a warning about a card, they're very matter-of-fact about it. For me, that sounds like Emily needs to give her team a warning. If they continue, then there could be possible extended consequences for her team.
Well, this is about the 4th line out France have had down here. They've gone through pretty much every repertoire to try and get this one over. Stade Bordelais. Socha goes in, not clean but taken. Loose ball. England have it. Scrum half on scrum half. Sansus is so strong. Scarrett having to play scrum half there, goes back to Harrison. And England finally clear. France think about taking it quickly, change their mind.
Well, that is huge for England. Surviving nearly 7 or 8 minutes pressure there was a huge dump tackle by Marley Packer, and then the ball coming back on the bounce. So Infante did well there because she managed to get her knee down while she was in the air, which means technically it is a tackle and the French have got to release her.
Forlani shot goes up then to Sansus. Drouin, there's 4. The power in her legs, incredible. Drouin. Vernier couldn't quite take. Comes back at the end to Philippon. She just dinks it over the top. Harrison looks back, breach.
Whoa.
Well, I don't think that's quite what Jess Breach wanted to do.
Well, I don't know what she thought she was doing, actually.
I think she was a bit forced under pressure. Not sure where to go, but wanted to get the ball out of the danger zone. Just some errors creeping in for France. Durand obviously missing out the last 2 rounds due to injury. Comes straight back into 10. A couple of balls, just timing with her 12 hasn't gone right. But there are opportunities out there.
They go long towards the back again. It's not a clean line out for the French. It's really costing them. Packer.
It's inside. Inside.
Infante.
It's outside now, outside.
Run comes in by Byrne.
Take him back, take him back.
Harrison. Warning there that it's been taken back.
Onside now.
Nicely taken by Jacquet. She's busy looking for work. Support on her shoulder there by Ménager. Sansus again puts up the high ball. Harrison takes nicely. Byrne, the one-woman tornado that is Sarah Byrne. Been doing that the whole Six Nations, always getting over the gain line. France need a name on it. Jacquet happy to oblige. Roland. Low scuttering kick straight back, 15-15. Infante has to watch that one roll.
Now, did she touch that?
Oh, it's stuck just in front. Well, play continued. Everyone thought it had stopped, but it hadn't. And that went over the head of Jacquet. Right, the game is now in the red. The referee's going to come back. She is going to review what happened. So she is going to say it's a goal line dropout. Well, the clock has actually gone, so it must have been that it happened before the clock went red.
Okay, was that the touch before or after? The touch was before time was up? Okay, we'll play the goal line dropout. And then that's time. Then that's time.
Well, that will be time, so England just need to get this off the park. Make sure French do not get their hands on it.
Let's go, girls.
Well, Harrison sends it high. Gathered in the end. Sansus. Little dummy by Sansus, had drawn on her shoulder. Packet happy to tidy. And it's Infante who sends it into the stand. And it's England who lead in the south of France. It was the French who led early with a try from Romain Manager, but it was then Byrne and Ward, then Byrne again. That means that it is England who go in at half-time up. France 7, England 21.
Well, it is a Grand Slam decider, and it was a grandstand start for France. Exactly the kind of tempo, exactly the kind of game they had to come out with to rattle this imperious England team. With Sansu, the architect as she so often is. But England did what England do, and that line out and drive, the maul has been such a potent weapon for them throughout this Six Nations, and towards the end of the half as well, that defence really holding out against some great French pressure. It's just the kind of game, isn't it, that we were crying out for. England to be tested, but also coming up to it, coming up to the test and delivering mentally.
Yeah, it's been a really good first half. Bit of a cliche. I don't think the score really reflects the actual game itself. But
certainly the last 10 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. The French came out, you know, they had the fast start, then England sort of pulled it back, and the penalties have been, you know, for both teams have been quite high. So it's been a good first half. I just really hope that England can sort of maintain that and the French start to improve their discipline.
Yeah, that has been a big question mark for them, but throughout the tournament as well. In fact, that 40 minutes or so kind of encapsulates, doesn't it, kind of what's gone on in this whole Six Nations for these two sides.
It really does. I think England, like we've talked about, have gone to their set piece. It's something they feel really comfortable with. Whereas with France, you know, it's been hit and miss. There's moments in they're 5 metres out, they overthrow, they don't even get somebody in the air, and then they've got moments when they're on their halfway and they're hitting the back ball. So I think, like you say, France's error count is a thing, and their penalty count is really costing them. That game should probably, as Maggie said, should be a lot closer in that first half.
Let's talk about the kicking game, Katie. We said it was going to be vital, and clearly there's no point playing this game in the centre of the pitch. You know, both teams know what they're out to do, but it was England who early on were not getting the kind of rub of it, were they? I mean, you were saying, right, why are they doing that? Why are they positioning themselves there?
So England have gone with their traditional way of exit from the 22. Zoe Harrison dropping into the right-hand side. But as we've seen here, what Jacquet has done really well is she's carried. So rather than kicking from where she's caught, she's carried and she's pushed and she's cleared Zoe Harrison, which forced that error. And then this kick here from Helena Rowlands, it's what makes her such a dangerous fullback. She's got that run-pass kick game. She finds a bit of space from kick return. And just pings the corner. And this one very similar to the first. We're just not judging the flight of the ball for me. Our back three are just sitting a little bit too flat. We're maybe not allowing for the wind, if there's a wind there, but also just the length of Jacquet's kick. And she's clearing or asking the girls to take the ball over the shoulder.
You'd think kind of conditions accounts for maybe 1-2 kicks, but then you adapt and you move yourself, don't you?
Yeah, and it seems it's happened to 3 different individuals. So hopefully now both Lydia, Zoe Harrison and Helena will be much more comfortable with the length of Jacquet kicks, but also just getting used to if she's going to carry, because we know she's a very dangerous run threat for France. Actually, are they making those adjustments in the backfield?
And of course, it was an error that led to the first French try. Well, the only French try. At that point, it felt like the floodgates were going to be open for France because they looked so aggressive, didn't they? Sansu, as she does.
Yeah, we talked about her at the start of the game being a threat and a pace around the breakdown, but it was really smart. She commits about 3 or 4 England players. If you look on the blind side, look, England have got too many numbers there, and as a result of that, the French have got more numbers numbers on the open side. And then again, they throw themselves into the breakdown. And what's really smart here by what the French do is that they suck in the guard player. So if you see here, Mélanger spots the fact that Vicky Cornborough goes out wide and the space is through the middle. Again, we said this before, England have to work hard to make sure they get the defence in because the French are very good at that quick run around the breakdown.
And they've been in those positions. I mean, the last kind of 10 minutes of the half there, they will be gutted, the French, that they've gone in without any more points than that.
Yeah. And it's like we touched on at the beginning, isn't it? Realistically, that France are their own worst enemies, and that's what we know about France. If those things go to hand, we're probably looking at a 21-21 all game. But actually, their errors, their probably what we would class as a loose play is what's costing them, because it's not their territory and it's certainly not their possession.
Certainly the catch and drive, as I mentioned before, is an enormous weapon for England. We've seen it throughout this championship and again today.
Yeah, look, England have done this throughout the championship. This is their 11th try, I think, they scored from a driving maul. Again, for me, it's the patience. So they do well to keep their players in, making sure they keep the referee on side. And as a result, the French just unfortunately pull that maul down. But again, the English do it again. This is their bread and butter. They set up, they throw it at the back, they get their players in. The French, unfortunately, are unable to organise themselves. And as a result of that, England then get the momentum and start getting that drive again. This is what they're good at, and this is what they will continue to do in the second half.
Yeah, and at this point, the penalty count as well was interesting, wasn't it? France were at one point at 6-1 to England on penalty count. It's evened itself up as the half's gone on, but England have really capitalised, haven't they, with those penalties? They've been really smart.
I do think, though, England were quite lucky not to get a card in that last 5 minutes. I mean, their defence on the line was relentless. It was very good. Holly Davison does look like, though, she's swaying a little bit more to the England side. But I do think when it comes to second half, you've got to paint that positive picture. You've got to get the referee on side and actually try and be disciplined and just do whatever it takes not to give away any penalties.
And, of course, we know they can kick for possession and territory, but also when you've got backs who've got pace, you can get yourself in some really lovely field positions.
You can, and, you know, you look at the back three that England have put out today in Breach, Rowlands and Thompson, and Thompson is, for me, is one of a world-class finisher. She's somebody that gets out of space that you shouldn't get out of. We look at this shot here, there's 4 defenders around it, and she beats 6, 7 players. Eventually gets caught a little bit short of the line, but it's that physicality she has. She's not just quick, she is a physical player, and that was what makes her so dangerous for England.
And, of course, that then led to another try. And obviously, you know, along with the other tries, we kind of sit before the match, don't we, going, we don't want to just show England, you know, catch and drive, because it feels like it's not the most exciting element of rugby. But if it's one of your potent weapons, you've got to use it, haven't you? And even, you know, then that's what resulted in a try. So.
And I think if you're Lewis Deacon sitting there as England's forwards coach, you're probably like, you're rubbing your hands together, aren't you? For me, I think if France are there at half-time, if they stop that, where do England go next? And this has always been the big question about the Six Nations. England do a very good job at their catch and drive, but if somebody stops that, where do we go?
But I think the French need to put players up in the line. At the moment, they're just sort of staying down. So when England go up for the ball, they get the ball, but the French are just waiting for that driving maul. If they compete, they can really put, I think, Zoe Allcroft off, and actually that will make a big difference. So in the second half, the French have to compete and attack every sort of set piece.
And the defence should be noted as well. England's defence in that last 10 minutes, while perhaps the refereeing could have gone a different way, they had to absorb a lot of pressure.
And we know that's England's strength. I know we talk about them not being challenging and beating roads, but ultimately you've got some ferocious forwards that are on the line, the likes of Marley Packer, Poppy Cleal, Lark Davies, that will put their body on the line. But for me, England look really organised. France don't look like they're threatening, and it looks like it's going to have to come from some more organised set-piece try, more likely to be a scrum. But England's defence here, like Maggie touched on, didn't get the fold right in either the previous for the try, but actually they look settled, don't they?
Yeah, and the psychological impact that's going to create for England, to know that they've held out the French, not get a try in that last, 5 minutes, it's definitely going to give them confidence in the start of that second half.
OK, more from you two in just a moment. But, of course, Wales-Italy was the first match to kick off this final Six Nations Saturday. Here's the best of the action.
Wing is on, hold, stop, on now.
The ball will stay in. Can Italy launch an attack from deep? Forlan onto Muzzo. Again, and this is Veronese. The blindside flanker gets it onto Sara. Baratin dots it down. Bertoni finds Duca. And Baratin and Forlan connect. Wales steal it this time. Wales leaving it as late as possible to get on the board. Bevan has a scrum going forward to work from. And Wales go with Harries, Bethan Lewis, Callender, picked up by Kira Bevan. And she sets the Cardiff Arms Park alight. Tunezi, advantage from in front of the posts. And Wales were offside. And Michaela Sillery puts Italy on the right side of it again. 10-8, Italy lead Wales, and just seconds remaining. It's right on the money. Jazz Joyce reaches, but this will go out. And Italy, cautious eyes to the referee, but they have the victory.
Well, delight for Italy with their second win in the championship, but heartbreak for Wales, who are hunting their third and closing out Super Saturday in this Six Nations. Ireland-Scotland is on tonight at 7:45. On the iPlayer, Scotland know, though, they have the wooden spoon. Women's Super League action continues. It's Aston Villa-Arsenal tomorrow at 2:05 on BBC One. And if you've been impressed by the Rugby On show in this Women's Six Nations, then countless players across the home nations will be featuring in the Premier 15s, which is back next Saturday, the 7th of May at 2:30. It's live on the iPlayer and BBC Sport app, with Bristol Bears hosting Harlequins, as both sides are battling it out for a place in the semi-finals. And over the next few weeks, the semi-finals and the final will also be live on BBC platforms. And of course, don't forget, the Rugby Union Weekly podcast is available to listen to on BBC Sounds. Well, action out there in Bayonne will be continuing shortly, and hopefully we'll get a word as well from Sonia and the team, because the atmosphere has been fantastic, hasn't it? And that early try from France really gave the crowd a massive lift. But credit to England, because they silenced them quickly, and that was really important psychologically after early errors, to just get yourself back, get yourself composed when you're in a hostile environment like that, Maggie.
It shows the character and the resilience of this England side. I think it's the first time in this whole championship where they've been behind. So to be able to learn how to do it, how to get back from a try and then to pull back what has been so far a good performance from England. But there's a lot that's probably been said at half-time. You know, they need to make sure they have a fast start. Again, don't let the French in by, giving away cheap penalties. So it's all about composure now.
OK, well, we said in the build-up, didn't we, that England have been rocked this week with injuries. Of course, Sarah Hunter, the captain, of course, out of action, and there was a worry about Poppy Cleall. But they've absorbed all of that in this first half. So let's get the reaction then from Sonia and Rachel, who've been joined by the injured captain, Sarah Hunter.
Yeah, and the sun's has come out now, Gabby, and Sarah's wearing a very fetching orange fluorescent vest, a very overqualified water carrier. Maggie Alfonsi was just saying, talking about what might have been said at half-time. You can tell us, because you've been in that dressing room, so do.
Real simple messages, just our defence, we've got to be disciplined. Like, that's what's getting them in our half. That's what's keeping the pressure on. So we've got to be more disciplined, especially in defence. We've got to probably guard those fringes. Sansu is the one who's attacking the threat, and she's the one that looks dangerous. So we've got to be a bit more diligent on stopping her. And then attack, not get bored of doing the simple things, looking after the ball, probably moving it away from Shaqe, she's getting in, kicking it straight back, so maybe a shift kick, and just keeping that pressure on. When we get down here, our maul's been excellent.
Rachel, you said to me a little while ago, Sarah Hunt, she'd make a really good coach one day, wouldn't she? She's right, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I think, identifying simple things, the things that have been really working for England, pinning France in the corner, then going to work with your driving maul, and all of that energy you've just sapped from France. So those last 10 minutes, keeping them out, that's going to give the team so much energy coming out into the second half.
Yeah, we've talked about raising that again this half. I mean, it's easier said than done, isn't it? We're saying to the girls, you've got to raise the tempo, you've got to go, and they've given it their all. But, we've trained so hard for this. We train above match intensity for days like this to come out and hopefully finish the second half and come away with that Grand Slam again.
What sort of spectator are you, Sarah? Because I do wonder just how frustrating it must be. I've watched you up and down this touchline. You're probably running as much as the players are. It's bad ribs that you've got after the Ireland game, but Is it a little frustrating?
It comes with part and parcel of the sport, unfortunately, injuries. But it's great to be here and help the girls in any way I can, you know. I don't think they can hear me on the pitch because of all this crowd, but I still feel that encouragement is getting there somehow. And I think shouting's hurting my ribs more than running at the minute. So, but yeah, I've got every confidence that, you know, watching them, and they're doing a great job, and I'm sure they'll go and finish the job now.
You are? You're pretty confident. Has anybody even dared to mention the words grand and slam in that dressing room at half-time?
No, not yet. Obviously, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we're talking about winning the game, and if we win the game, that will lead to that. But it's about having a second half performance. You know, we tend to finish big in games. We've got a great bench to come on and hopefully finish the game and see where we get to there. But if they have the second half like the first half, then hopefully it will go our way.
Excellent, Sarah. We'll let you get back to the team. Thank you very much for coming over and joining us. That's the England captain, Sarah Hunter. She's off with her fluorescent jacket. Just, Rachel, one last word to you. In this second half, how much is it important for England just to keep calm? Because it must be so difficult knowing what's at stake, not to just keep calm.
Yeah, look, they've got plenty of experienced players out there just to think about one phase at a time, one moment at a time. You know, let's work towards that 40-minute performance, probably the best 40 that we've seen opening from England. So, and we know that they've finished big, just like Sarah Hunter said. So, you know, it's all in their hands at the moment.
It certainly is. And it seems, Gabby, that this crowd has woken up again. They're in fine voice, I should say, as we head towards the second half.
Thanks, Sonia. Let's join our commentary team, Brian, Rachel and Sarah Orchard.
It was England that's got us back going. As France send the ball out towards this near side touch. So many thoughts of what might have been said to either side at that half-time. No changes spotted yet for either. Many England fans will be glad to see that Poppy Cleall has come out once again to continue. So much of the build-up was focusing on that calf. Seems to be holding. Scarrett.
Thank you, Jen.
Infante, back to Harrison. Not the best clearance kick we've seen from Harrison. Ever so slightly scuffed there by the Saracens' number 10. And means that France have the ball in a very nice position.
Well, elementary error from England there, taking the ball, clearly taking the ball back into the 22, which meant they couldn't kick the ball out on the full. And as you say, cedes a very decent attacking position to the French.
France always seem to have a buffet in the changing rooms at half-time. We've seen shots of it before. They get all the replacements to hand out all the food on plates, as we get to see Ferrer flying away with the ball to Sansus, who runs straight into the guts there of Harrison. Taken this time by Joyeux. Forlani quickly round the corner to cover things up. Sansus, Hermé, France captain. Just needs slightly quicker ball at the moment. Plenty of time at the moment for the white shirts to rearrange. Ferrer popped off on her shoulder, this time to Vernier. They're happy to just throw bodies down that far side channel, France. Round the corner, Fall is there. Forlani waits. Straight into Sarah Byrne. Good double tackle going in there. Sansus looks up. The patience required by France at the moment is Fall runs again, not clean then to Socha. It's loose on the floor. And it looks like they've injured themselves on the floor, that collision there, as Harrison came in. Ménager to Forlani again. Still loose ball.
And away six.
Drouin, there's Ferrer. They're getting closer, the French. Sansus can't get the pass away, it's a penalty. It's offside. It's not going to be anything else for now. But France have been here so many times in this first half, I think they are just checking in there on Gabrielle Vernier because the Black centre has taken a bit of a hit.
Well, it's a much better rhythm from the French, trusting their systems and going through a number of phases rather than trying to make the instant break. And of course, when you do that, it puts increased pressure on the England defence and penalties are drawn.
Well, at the moment, we can't actually hear our referee, Holly Davidson, for the time being. Hopefully we will get that back, but they are looking at a review because this could be a yellow card for Zoe Harrison.
Yeah, just desperation from Zoe Harrison, trying to cut off Santos. She gets her hand to it.
Yeah, have an official look. Yeah. Wait till she's at the screen before we go to replays.
And she's the one that does the deliberate knock-on. At the end of the first half, they were also on a warning, so I think I'm going to yellow card number 10.
Well, this will be England's first yellow card of the entire Six Nations campaign, and this could be a seminal moment in this match. Saracen Zoe Harrison goes to the bin. And if France want to get their hands on a Grand Slam, this 10 minutes could prove pivotal.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a critical moment now for France. They came out the blocks in the start of the first half, and they've done the same in the second half, but can they maximise this opportunity and the yellow card?
How many times did they have this chance in the first half? They haven't executed the line out. Was it knocked on at the back? Yes. First knock-on was England's, so they restart with a scrum.
Well, France have been lucky in the sense that they've got the putting, because that's a really poor discipline. Throw too low, the lift and bounce too slow. But of course they do have a player extra here. And you can see on the right wing, French right winger all on her own for the cross kick, if it comes.
It's just got a bit more tense here in Bayonne. Big shove from England.
That
England
is
penalty!
Absolutely huge from England. You could see there, Gail Hermé stood up in the back row, so she wasn't able to support the tight head under pressure anyway. And of course, once you don't have that support, you're in trouble, and that caused the French scrum to go backwards.
And the pack there, knowing that the backs are going to be under pressure, so knew that they needed to be able to try and slow the scrum down or drive them backwards, make it not clean ball for them to be able to play off. And then rightly wins the penalty.
You can see at the top of the screen, Hermé there, French number 7, offering no support at all to her prop.
Davis to Ward. Hacker has it for now. England have got to play some smart rugby over the next 8 minutes. Just to see out this period with 14 women on the field.
That's once.
Forlani is in there.
Okay, now use it.
Warning to Infante to get it out. Roland, Cleal.
Stay on. Oh, hold on.
Infante to Roland.
Hold white.
Ménager. Marine runs straight into Matthews. Matthews misses the tackle. She gets an extra metre. Joyot is there. Sansus arrives. Drouin. Here's Vernier. Oh, little dummy from Vernier. It's lovely. Still going. And she managed to outfox Emily Scarrett. Sansus with a little dink over the top. Roland under pressure. Pushes to the far side, and just a flash there of what France can do.
Well, Sansus is one of France's best players. She's very, very useful around the breakdown, but that was an error. It was on the front foot balls, no need to kick there, especially when they've got a player up.
Yeah, should have kept the ball in hand, but lovely from Vernier. Emily Scarrett knows that she's got an outside overlap that she's got to cover, so goes slightly early. Ménager also gets a little blocking line on Lark Davis, which gives her the opening gap to get through.
Change here then for France. Audrey Forlani of Blagnac makes her way off the field. On in her place is Julie Annery, who actually started last week for France against Wales. She'll slot into the second row. Well, I have to say, there have been problems for France at that line out. Most of them have been called by Zoe Allcroft and Abby Ward.
Well, you look at the difference in England's last line out, set position, go through the drills, good ball, able to be driven. France there, although they got two hands to the ball, it was like a volleyball spike down to the scrum half, who can't do anything with that.
Well, there's a little bit of treatment going on the floor at the moment. It is to Poppy Cleal. Interesting to see what happens here. We can actually see Rosie Galligan is warming up in the touch area. It indicates that they would probably have a reshuffle. We'd probably see Aldcroft going into the back row if Galligan's coming on. She's an out-and-out second row.
The receiver is set, that she does not then come into the line-out before you throw the ball.
Rest of the England bench just watching on. Waiting perhaps for their chance to get involved. Let us not forget, this is a big opportunity this period for France. England with the woman in the bin. They need to make the most of this opportunity.
Absolutely, we keep seeing them get multiple opportunities, whether that's at set piece or ball in hand. It just comes down to that final bit of detail, forcing the errors. It's a big let-off for England, knowing that they've got a player down, but they'll just want to wind down as much time as they can on this yellow card. So far, they're doing well to manage that.
Sarah Hunter mentioned the benches before, and England's depth, I think, in the end, if they hold out this period, will be very telling, because the front rows, for example, are interchangeable for England. Not so for the French.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Hold! Hold!
There's a little bit of comeback there from France, but...
No, spun. Spun first. Same ball.
Well, they're going to reset this one.
You want to get rewarded, you need to go forward first, not spin.
Well, you also have to ask, if you want to go forward, who is doing the spinning first? And if you want to drive forward, why would you spin?
Can we also just say, how polite is Sarah Byrne to say sorry to the referee? We love manners.
Absolutely, she's probably too tired to argue with her.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Big French penalty, that one.
Well, it's given away against the England. Lewis said Vicky Coimbra say for hinging, which means just dipping from the hips and not driving.
Perfect, girl. Thank you.
But again, it puts pressure back on England. Now, can France get this discipline right?
Well, England haven't really fired a shot at all in this second half. It's all been about France, but the scoreline says otherwise. Another disruption at the line out. Packer.
Yeah, back, stop. Yeah, good.
Ball back, Scarrett. Boujard. Runs straight into breach. Manages to keep her feet in there. 4. Ménager juggles, Matthews can't take. Still Ménager. Really nicely done there by Julie Annery to hold on to that ball. They need it quickly, France can't get the pass away again. Advantage. Was there another English hand in there? Yes.
There was, but it was in the process of a tackle and not as before.
It was a really good read there from Lydia Thompson. They had a 4-player overlap, so she knew that she had to stop the player and the ball from getting out into that channel. But again, another massive let-off. An opportunity gone begging again for France. You know, it's just focused in and around that area on their next job. That's letting them down.
But a very, very impressive player, French player, Fall. What a tremendous athlete she is.
Well, that was a push there by England. Referee has blown. She comes back for the penalty. She almost second-guessed herself, but the arm had gone up.
And the referee's right there. The French were in danger of losing the ball against the head. When the England shove came on, went straight down to protect it.
Well,
and not only have England worked their way into the French half through a combination of good defence and poor French execution of set plays, but they've run nearly 7.5 minutes off the clock for the player down.
Well, England are about to make the change. Poppy Cleal is going off the field. That is the end of her Six Nations. Her calf is held. And onto the field now is Rosie Gallagher. She'll slot into the second row, and Aldcroft will move into the back row. Strong darts again by Lark Davis. The line-out has certainly gone the way of the English so far in this fixture.
Which number, Joy? Okay, collapse.
Well, there we go, another penalty for England as well.
Yep.
Packer now has it. Infante. Rowland. There's Scarrett coming on that inside line. Infante to Coimbra. Around the fringes and the corners, England continue to work. This is their first real foray down into the French half. Aitchison. Well, they'll come back for the penalty, and the time on the sin bin is nearly up. For 10 minutes, France have had the ball. They've been at the right end, but just as this period closes out, they will have come away with nothing.
Number 8, collapse.
And England are just being really smart here and winding down the clock. This is the slowest Rowland has ever walked up towards taking a kick to the corner.
And to be honest, she ought to be hurried up by the referee.
Yep, thanks very much.
And England now back up to 15. No harm done by that 10-minute sin bin.
No, and you've got to commend them for their defensive effort under all sorts of pressure from France, but managed to manage 10 minutes of pressure and now be in a great field position.
What a throw by Davis. That was stunning by the Loughborough Lightning hooker. She's still got the ball well. She's becoming slightly exposed there.
That's once.
Needs to put the ball backwards so the referee can see it.
Okay, let's use it now.
Warning to Infante to get it out.
Use that ball.
Harrison, Aitchison. Scarrett on the inside. They've tried that a few times now. Good rucking work by the French. Scarrett couldn't get the ball back, and France can clear.
And it's been the player for France all this Six Nations. Sansous gets their team out of trouble there. Emily Scarrett's just so hard to bring down. She bumps off two players. But then because she manages to break through, she gets slightly isolated.
Good there, thanks, Tim.
Well, it does show the all-round skills you need, because the first two players into the breakdown were fellow backs and not used as often as forwards to going in and clearing. Couldn't get the accuracy, couldn't get over Scarrett. There's a moment there when that has to be cleared and couldn't make it.
When you see Scarrett go through that passage of play, worth remembering that it was only September last year that she had that terrible leg break that kept her out for 6 months. Back like absolutely nothing has happened. Short to the front. The skipper takes it. Gail Hermé, she's been France captain now since 2017. She led them to that 2018 Six Nations victory. She'd love another. That's what's on the line in the next half hour.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Popped off ball, Packer. Saracens woman battling to get that back. Scarrett gets the kick away. Jacquet watched it go over her head. Oh, Emily Scarrett, which side of the halfway line was she?
The correct one for a 50-22.
Great work from Helena Ronan in the backfield. Just puts her head down, gets her team 20 metres. And France are then defending literally where she's from. And what a smart little kick, just turns the defence.
Let me just tell you what that is. If you kick the ball from inside your own half and you bounce it into the opponent's 22, if it goes out, then you get the throw. And that's in order to try and create more space, make wingers hang back, to try and stop that ploy and create space out wide. It's a good rule, good law.
Well, it's still considered a global law trial, but World Rugby have actually got a meeting next week that could bring it into full law. Highly likely to happen. You just saw the French coach there, Annie Quéron, watching on. Knock on by France.
Yep.
And England get another scrum. And I think they're about to make changes as well here, England.
Number 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
See, another very basic discipline. The French, the forwards will go through this time and time and time again. And to win the ball and then just have a bit of carelessness there and spill the ball forward undoes everything you do.
Vicky Coimbra and Lark Davis off for England. On in their place, Amy Cockayne and Hannah Bottoman. Cockayne and Bottoman, two women who pride themselves on everything that happens in the front row.
Find your up and come. Okay, no. You're new on. I've given the mark. It's the first time we've had head on head. I need you to go left of the mark. In. Crouch. Bind. Set.
That's gone down on the near side. England want to get it out. Harrison. Scarrett again on that cheat line.
Thanks, Nine.
Harrison. Pass to no one. Was there a French hand?
Oh, wait.
England not allowed to go quickly. And they're going to go and look at it as well.
Yep, I just want to see if there's a overlap on that deliberate knock-on by 13 blue.
Okay, reviewing if there is an overlap for that knockdown.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Well, it's Lee Jeffrey, who's our New Zealand television match official, who's going to be looking at that.
Wide angle to see if there's an overlap.
Yes, there is.
Like for me, there's only one other blue player outside. It's a 3-on-1 after that, so it's going to be a yellow card. Yeah.
Okay.
13.
Back to the referee.
13.
Back to ref. Oh, yep, sweet.
Well, it's Maëlle Philippon who has to go off for France. And whilst France couldn't get anything on the scoreboard when Zoe Harrison was on the bin, what difference can England make with the extra woman?
Yeah, it'll give them confidence to play to that outside. Philippon just gets desperate in defence because France don't get their fold. They don't work hard enough from the initial line break from Emily Scarrett. And that's why they had the 3-on-1 on the outside.
Find your space at the scrum, and I'll speak to her.
Well, there's been no scores so far in this second half, so this could be a smart move from England to get the scoreboard moving again. Scarrett 4 from 4, yep. England extend their lead.
And if England can go through the disciplines and stay with their patterns, they should be able to see the game out from here.
Good decision for England to go for the points as well. They've just had to weather a big storm with Zoe Harrison off, lots of pressure. Just extend that lead.
You can just see coming off the field there, it's Caroline Bouchard. Emily Boulard is coming on in her place. Bouchard not really been able to get much into the game today. There's also been a change for England at scrum half as Leanne Infante is off and Natasha Hunt is on. Oh, big pressure there by France. It's Joya who throws her body onto it. Day to fall.
Not on the ball.
Sansus. Vernier can't take. Advantage now to England. Hunt. Packer. Well, Romain Manager, the Montpellier, is enjoying that physical contest with Packer this afternoon. Popped off to Bottoman in the end. Big tackle on her comes in by the fly half Drouin. Byrne being wrestled to the floor. Hunt to Bottoman.
Sorry.
Hunt back to Harrison. No name on it. Sansus says thank you. Joya, Vernier. There's French players lying in the middle of the field. They're not enough quick enough, but here she comes, it's Boulard! Boulard still going! What a tackle flying in by Aitchison!
Play on, first player!
Well, the whole of the crowd here thought that France should have had that ball, but the English player was legal. The crowd disagrees.
Turnover by 15 is good, and then she's just landed on the wrong side.
What an introduction from Boulard, straight on the pitch, and her first touch, she gets the entire crowd on their feet. But just smart play from England. And what about this tackle from Emily Scarrett, backtracking? You think she's going over and she gets swiped from absolutely nowhere. And there's 4 or 5 players around that breakdown.
If there's anything clear, they come.
Yeah, and you call to the team?
Yeah.
Keep rolling through there. Keep.
Well, the TMO is talking to Holly Davidson. It was Scarrett who flew in with that try-saving tackle in the end.
Thank you.
They're asking for foul play there, but I can't see.
Watching that run by Boulard.
Ball is out the ruck. The ball is out the ruck. But we can shot the ball around the ruck. But there is no
Well, the
ruck.
reason France couldn't get the ball back there was the first player in inadvertently kicked the ball forward. No element of foul play as far as I could see.
For it to actually be a ruck, there needs to be a player on their feet over the top of the ball, is what Holly Davidson is saying. Because the ruck hadn't been formed, it means that there can't be any foul play. It means there's no offside as well.
Crouch!
France are angry, and you can tell. Big hit going in there. Wonderful hard work by Julianne Henry. England taking their time. France still throwing bodies at this. There, you can hear the referee there saying that it's okay. France can keep doing that. Byrne gets another couple of meters, back this time to Cockayne. First real pressure that England have felt in this second half. Hunt using all that nous, taking her time to clear this one away, and just moves the ball away from the danger zone.
Yeah, just great work from England, working themselves towards the touchline to give themselves a better angle to be able to exit from.
Well, important actually that that ball went off, not only to give England a bit of a breather, but to put French pressure back on the French line out, which, let's face it, has not been perfect this afternoon.
France, of course, operating at the moment with that woman in the bin. The 15 white shirts of England against the 14 of France. Sochak gets the ball tight to the front. That's better from them at the line-out. 4. Vernier.
Tackle.
Joyeux manages to find Jacquet.
No.
Tried to take it back down the middle.
There's the ball.
Sansus looks up. Henry. She's been a real firecracker since she came on the field. De Hay.
No, not now, 17.
Warning there against Hannah Bottoman.
In the side. No. Side entry and off feet by 17.
Well, it's quite clear there for the referee. It was right in front of where she was.
Yeah, thanks,
and if France are going to make a fist of this game, if they want to get their hands on this trophy, now is the time to do something about it.
Okay. Number 2.
Absolutely, there's 15 minutes left. They need to give their team a lift. They need to execute in this area. They've got to come away with some points. They've been applying all this pressure, but the scoreline has been saying 7 to them.
Changes then. You can see Sochak coming off, also Joyeux onto the field, Lindelof and Brousseau. Change also for England as was Maud Muir now on the field. As Sarah Byrne takes a seat. First ball is good then by Touillet. Still France. Ménager, who scored in the first half early on, building up ahead of steam. Another penalty. They come back to the line out. The crowd want more.
Jumping across. Number 5, jump across. No. It's in the corner.
It's much better from France from the set piece. Ménager just manages to roll off the back and just leg drive through. I think Marley Packer might be lucky there, slapping the ball out of the Nine's hands. But so far the bench have had a good impact and the crowd are back on their feet now.
Lord Touillet then. First throw was good, second one's good as well. Well, France need to take this opportunity. It's penalty advantage. Sansus is there at the back. Touillet still holding. They're edging closer. Back inside. There's De Hay! It's Lyons and Elde who goes over. It's still a 12-point gap, but it is closing and there is time.
How about that? You can never write France off, especially on their home turf. But how about that discipline around the breakdown, around the maul? Sansus just picks it off, and you've got Natasha Hunt going up against DA. There's only ever going to be one winner in that contest. And finally, all the pressure that France have been putting onto England has come to some points.
Well, it had to come for France to have enough time to get back into this game, and crucially, I mean, you look in there and they're still a player down and recording a score completely against what usually happens. Unfortunately, the kick for them has not gone over, which could be a telling point when we come down to the denouement, but can't fault French for the spirit of their comeback.
Well, France have got more changes to come onto the field as well. One of them's a biggie. Jessie Tremoulière. Only 29 years old, Tremoulière, but she makes a big difference as we see the end of the game for Romain Manager. On in her place is Emmeline Gros. But there is Manager. There is Tremoulière. Keep an eye on her boot. It is long.
No, off now, off. Onside 7. Take him back.
And that's why she's got the ball there. Straight to Rowland. Beats Harrison. Harrison takes her own ball. Classy stuff by the Saracens 10. Far side, Cocaine couldn't take. And it's a French scrum. Remember, France still only have 14 women on the field. Maëlle Philippon, he's waiting on the sideline, desperate to get back on.
So I think Amy Cocaine was expecting that ball. Natasha Hunt could see the space was out there.
Remember, France have won 21 of their last 22 home Women's Six Nations games. So strong on home soil, but so often when the white shirts turn up, the pressure is on. That is out, and Sansus flies away. Gets the pass away in the end to Boulard. Hermé, the captain, angry, running. Sansus, Tremoulière, full. Still full. Lovely. Can't get the pass away. Just trying to force it, the French.
Thank you.
And that's probably been the story for France this afternoon. Moments of brilliance, but just can't finish things off. Powell's been outstanding this entire game. The amount of carries and contacts that she's made, but to be able to ride out 3 or 4 tackles there.
Medusa Fall made her debut back in 2019 at the San Diego Super Series. A real force on her 16th cap today. She's going to be around in rugby for a long time. You just saw the handling errors there, slightly costing France. That is some contest at that scrum. France warned.
Not driving straight.
Not driving straight. Classic wheel, the loose head goes forward, tight head just pulls back slightly. We'll get away with that if it was slower.
Just England running into the line out, wanting to keep tempo, knowing that the last 10-15 minutes, they want to absolutely continue to try and blow France away.
Amy Cocaine, RAF officer, gets the ball in. Hunt to Harrison. Aitchison. Rowland still going out on the far side of the field. Thompson. Breach was on her shoulder.
It's a forward pass before the hand. Forward pass before the hand.
Holly Davidson very clear there, and means we get a French scrum.
That's really disappointing from an England point of view. Had done all the hard work to create the overlap, but great cover tackle from Drouin to get across.
It was a good job. It was going to be a forward pass, although there would have been another yellow card there.
Nice and straight.
Because there was a clear overlap.
A bit of treatment there going on to the leg of Joyeux.
And from an England point of view, they don't need to try and hit the strike moves early. They need to go through the phases, keep the ball, keep pressure, keep territory here.
Sansus with the ball in. That's held. Tremoulier.
Taken back.
Oh, and that's a mistake from France that they just cannot under any circumstances give away at the moment. Just gives England a free pass.
Well, I know you mentioned the length of the boot of Tremoulier, and obviously it is there, but France have been much more successful ball in hand and moving. And when you get ball clear there and a lot of space, that's not straight.
Taken by Allcroft.
That's not straight back about 2 yards.
Holly Davidson happy that it is. Cocaine there.
That's once.
Hunt arrives just to marshal proceedings. Popped off ball, gives it to Aitchison. Saracens women, let us not forget that Holly Aitchison only made her debut back in the November. Incredible how she cemented herself in that side as Gallagher goes forward. Now Botman back inside to Packer. Hunt, Aitchison again, Scarrett. Big pass out wide, it's going to go into the hands of Matthews. Does really well with her body position there not to touch the whitewash. Gallagher, Maud-Muir can't take. Gros happy with the ball. Advantage then to France. Sansus with the clearance. Will they come back for the advantage?
Well, they do. The important thing from an England point of view is look where they are. They're still deep in the French 22, and whilst they're going to face a put-in against them, the French have got, well, they've got 90 metres to go if they want to score a try.
Maud-Muir there of Was, still only 20 years old, the youngest woman in this England setup. That's Rosie Gallagher, you can see on your screen there. Now Natasha Hunt. All names who've really started to shine through, those three, in this Six Nations campaign. Competition for places is going to be fierce in the build-up to the World Cup, of course, getting underway in October, and these two are in the same pool, England and France. You want to mark your diary, 15th of October in Whangarei. It's the pool match everyone is waiting for. Sansus. Well, that one's gone straight out, but she wasn't a 22. Ellie Kildunn now on for England.
Thanks, Joy.
And England can calm things down now.
Need to be disciplined here, go through again, be accurate, catch the ball, drive, take a few more seconds off the clock, but not manage that.
Well, there you saw Lart Davis has been selected by our French television colleagues to be the TikTok Women's Six Nations Player of the Match. And you do feel now that the clock is really against France. They've had their opportunities, they haven't taken them.
Yeah, it'll be a bit of a painful watch for them, knowing how much territory they've had in this second half and possession, but never been able to apply the pressure to turn to points. It'll be disappointing watch back for them, knowing that they had plenty of opportunities to put England under even more pressure.
Of course, a win for England today means they will equal their own record of 23 test wins, a 24th, and they would have the record as Tremoulier just comes in there on the crash. Sansus looks up. It was Groh who was waiting. Switch back inside. Lindelof. Back down the near side. Groh again, you can just tell that she's those fresh legs from the bench. Annery. Annery will be really frustrated that she didn't get to start this week. Little bit of a juggle there by Lindelof. Again, Tremoulier. Oh, that's going to be a penalty for France.
Well, we surely have to go to the corner here.
Well, I think that is Lawson Sous. He's down on the ground, and that will be a worry for France. She just got caught there in the back. Lawson Sous, she's only got 28 caps now. You'd think she'd have more, but since she made her debut, she had injury on and off for years. And she's missed out on some of those really pivotal Six Nations campaigns for France.
Lee, can you hear me?
But she really is such a little bit of electricity in that French squad. It would be such a shame for her to go off now.
Yep,
good to see that she's back on her feet.
No problem. Lee, can you hear me?
Everything good about France today has come through Sansus. It's in moments of her breakaway through, but getting her players into the game. She's had an outstanding Six Nations.
That clock is correct.
And you look here, and France probably cannot do this, because even if they go to the corner, score a converted try, because it's 12 points and that conversion was missed, they can't then just kick or have a penalty or a drop goal. They've got to score another try, which is highly unlikely in the time left, and not especially if you don't make touch.
Mistake from Drouin. Hunt has it. Taken to the ground by Thompson. Aldcroft trips over her own player. Hunt. Well, Holly Davison saying that was always out.
The ball is already crossed the plane of touch.
What about that skill from Lydia Thompson? You know, England not giving up, not giving an inch, right to the death of this game. Keeps the ball alive. Now they find themselves in French half territory when they would have been defending a maul and being under pressure.
Sarah Beckett is on the field for England for the first time in this Six Nations, as Alex Matthews makes her way off.
Maul, through the mark.
Cocaine. Sansus has gone off, so Alexandra Chambon is on for this final minute. England closing in on that Grand Slam. Back in the end to Rowland. She's going to push that one too much, straight out of play. Mistake from England, so it will be a French line out.
Yeah.
They can make the scoreline respectable now.
Sorry, you're going to be on the edge of the tee.
But that will be it.
Girls, take a step. Forward to the step.
Well, the delay is waiting for the ball. Montpellier's Lortouillet gets the ball in. Touchdown, Chambon. Straight into Aldcroft. Well, there's no scrum half there. Brosso there. Chambon back to Tremoulier. Decides to opt for the less pressured kick. Scarrett chases backwards. Thompson. Kildun. Hunt is digging it out. The clock is gone here in Bayonne. No more needs to be done. Ball goes back. Scarrett sends it into the stand. England win. They take the Grand Slam and a fourth consecutive Six Nations title. also done it in a World Cup year, a record equalling 23rd Test victory in a row. Smiles all round for anyone in a white shirt. The French crowd have been silent. Full time, France 12, England 24. Brian Moore, in the end, France turned up. They were ferocious early on, but it has been England's day.
It has, because they were better disciplined, they were more accurate, kept to the systems, and they fully deserve the plaudits will come their way.
Who has shone for you, Rachel Burford, in this campaign for England?
I think you can't look past Marley Packer. She has been at the heart of this England team every single game. She has delivered multiple times, whether that's turnovers, tackles, scoring for her team. She's an unbelievable player and has real impressive form for the Six Nations.
Well, it's heartbreak for France. It's nothing but joy for England as we head back to the studio and Gabby.
Thank you, Sarah, Rachel and Brian. Enjoy the celebrations there in Bayonne, because there weren't many travelling England fans to enjoy that in the ground. I'm sure plenty watching, though, but that won't matter to Simon Middleton's women, because that is a very impressive record that they are on now, with 23 wins in a row and their 4th Grand Slam in 6 seasons in a World Cup year, as Sarah said there. And having at times today to absorb pressure, to really defend well, to take the game into places that they haven't had to in this championship, Maggie.
Yeah, congratulations to England to start off with. What a way, I guess, to end the Six Nations. You know, we always knew this game was going to be a big test, playing France, in front of what is an intimidating crowd. But they really pulled it back, and after what was a slow start, I just think for England now, all they can do is kick on and build on this performance.
Was there enough there today from France, do you think, at times, that they kind of, you know, in the build-up and the preparation to this, they knew the game England were going to play, didn't they? And perhaps there were gaps in their forward planning and a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, and I think that's so accurate. I think if they look back on that game, the set piece absolutely killed France today. If you look at England, the massive thing that happened was that a set piece functioned. For France, it faltered all over the place. And I think, you know, the epitome of that was Joanne missing that kick, 5-6 minutes before time. That would have put France 5 metres out from England's line. So I think they'll look back and probably be really disappointed, because actually they would have had a lot of time to work on that and get that right.
But congratulations, because England were rattled a bit with injuries during the week and their preparation as well. But Rachel said it at half-time, didn't she, that Sarah said it actually at half-time, that they overtrain. They train beyond what they have to do, because they know there are going to be times when physically they are really tested, and they had 6-day turnaround to France's 8-day turnaround as well. But never did it look like fatigue, mentally or physically, was going to be a problem with them today.
No, I mean, and before the game, we were talking about, are any of these players going to be fit? You know, that game against Ireland was a physical attrition. You know, it was really tiring for some of those players, and Poppy was a risk as well, and Jess Breach as well had a big head collision. Emily Scarrett as well, but she always plays well, we know that. And for England to step up to the mark really did impress me. And, you know, this England side is only going to build. It wasn't like the perfect game to start off with, but you feel like this England side, the professionalism was about getting the basics right. And Sarah Hunter said that at half-time. You know, in the second half, they needed to make sure they sharpened up and not give away bad passes or any cheap penalties.
Well, the reaction is coming in from Bayonne. Let's hear from player of the match, Lark Davis, with Sonia McLaughlin.
Many congratulations. England Grand Slam champions. How does that sound right now?
It sounds unbelievable. Like, this is what we work for, like crowds like this, games like this. To get that result today, like, we didn't make it easy for ourselves, but yeah, unbelievable. Like, couldn't be prouder of like the team and what we've achieved.
You were a big part of that line-out maul which laid the platform for this victory in many ways, with 3 tries in that first half. How much of a weapon is that for you?
It's definitely a weapon that we've been working on. Like, it's built throughout the tournament. Like, we've been working so hard in training, and today we really showed what we can do. Like, it wasn't necessarily particularly pretty, but we got the points off the back of it, and yeah, I'm just so pleased for the girls and so pleased for the team.
France edged that second half, actually. Were you getting slightly anxious?
I always got faith in the girls. Like, those last few minutes, just making sure you kept the ball, like I said, to get that result today, like, unbelievable, especially with this crowd. Like, it's never easy coming to France, but to get the result and become Grand Slam winners again is unbelievable.
Now, look, Lark, this part of France has got a lot of attractions. I love your smile. I wonder how you might celebrate.
We'll definitely be celebrating tonight, that's for sure, but how we'll celebrate, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, we'll definitely be making sure that we do celebrate. It's been a tough few weeks, just making sure that we make the most of it. This is a massive occasion, like let's celebrate it.
You deserve to. Many congratulations.
Thank
you
well
done.
Merci d'applaudir Julie Annery, Cyrielle Banet, Axel Berthoumieux, Caroline Boujard, Émilie Boulard.
You've done it. Well done.
Ilana.
What does it mean to this team to be Grand Slam champions?
It means so much. Like, obviously, you know, we've been fortunate enough to have a couple of these now, but they mean so much every single time we get to do it. You know, obviously, there's certain players that weren't in our squad today that have helped so much in this campaign, in this, you know, this Six Nations that, you know, would love to have been here and have contributed so much. So this is for every person in our squad.
We're just watching a disappointed French team. This was actually your first big test, ultimately, of the championship. What about the performance, Emily?
Yeah, look, I think first half we were really in control of it. Look, we're never going to have it our own way against the top teams. That's just, it's not how it works. So you've got to fight through those tough times. I thought our forwards today were just unbelievable. We asked them to get through so much work, line-out wise, mauls, etc. They were phenomenal, so massive pat on the back to those guys. But look, as ever, there'll be things we want to look at, but I think tonight is the night for a bit of celebration.
I don't doubt it. What sort of confidence lift does this give you ahead of the World Cup, given you've got France in your pool?
Yeah, it's always huge. You always want to kind of keep that momentum when you've got it. Obviously, there's certain targets and markers we've been ticking off as we've gone through the Six Nations in terms of win records and stuff, which, you know, it means a lot to us. And there's, you know, loads of opportunities. And look, now this is ticked off, we'll definitely celebrate it, but obviously the World Cup is the big one and we're all, you know, so excited for it.
How will you celebrate it? Are you allowed to go crazy in a patisserie? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've already had a few patisseries, if I'm honest, Sonia, but yeah, look, I think we definitely deserve a night to enjoy each other's company, shall we say. You know, it's been a tough campaign, it's been really hard, we've had a lot of time away from friends and family, you know, as all the teams have, so yeah, I think we deserve a good night.
Many congratulations, Emily.
Thank you, thanks Sonia, cheers guys.
Sonia's quite obsessed about where they're going tonight. I think she's got a night in Bayonne, Sonia, don't you? She wants to know where the action's happening this evening. I think these women deserve a very big night because it looks on paper like they haven't been tested perhaps as much as some people would like. They've only conceded 4 tries. But you saw today in periods of the game how hard they work defensively to keep that kind of record. You know, there's a great pride in not letting France in at all, even when the gap was 14 points.
Yeah, and that's just an England mentality, you know. It's something that Simon Middleton will be extremely proud of, but will have drilled into the girls, because ultimately when you come out to knock out rugby, those kind of small scores allow that game to be much closer. I think, like Emily touched on there, though, it's been a long tournament. We just look at the games, but actually the intensity that they would have trained on, that Sarah touched on at half-time, really does take its toll. And when you've been in camp for 6-8 weeks like these girls have, like you say, they'll be ready for a night out, but they're physically also go back into club rugby at the weekend. So there's no real rest for them now. So I think, like Sonia said, hopefully they'll enjoy the night out.
I'm sure, and they will enjoy the next few moments as well. And these are the moments, aren't they, that you work hard for in your career. And Sarah Orchard will talk us through the presentation of the trophy.
Thanks ever so much. Yes, you can see there Ben Morrell, the chief exec of the Six Nations, handing out all of the medals. Alongside him is also Gemma Norton of TikTok as England slowly make their way forward. I have to say, we're not in Champagne region here in France, but we are secretly hoping there might be some bubbles hidden somewhere between us and a large advertising hoarding that is currently created a stage for the England women as they go up. Emily Scarrett there. We said earlier, of course, the captain today, it's normally Sarah Hunter, but it was Emily Scarrett who lifted the Six Nations trophy last year when Hunter was also injured. Helena Rowland there wearing 15. Is that going to be her shirt when it comes round to the World Cup? Of course, that's 6 months away now, down in New Zealand. Still plenty of time for things to change for both of these sides. It's worth knowing also they're in a pool with South Africa and Fiji are doing some fabulous things right now in 15s rugby. As Rosie Gallagher there just steps forward. Sadia Kabea there, a bright young name Loughborough Lightning flanker, just making her name so far in this England side. And this will be the moment as Ellie Kildunn is the last player to step up, and it will be Sarah Hunter, it looks like, who will lift the trophy for England. Couldn't play today because of those bust ribs, but she's out here and such a talisman for this English side. England are used to lifting that trophy. We're just hoping that all of Sarah Hunter's teammates don't necessarily mob her with those ribs that she's got to rest, as they're going to have to make a little bit of space now for Hunter. So the next time England and France meet, it'll be the World Cup, but that doesn't matter today. England are the 2022 Women's Six Nations Grand Slam champions. They celebrate their wins, and they will be out to party tonight. There's a woman who knows how to lift a trophy, having done it a few times before.
Who lifted the trophy, Sarah?
And they'll no doubt go and enjoy it with a small pocket of English fans that are just hidden down in the corner at the moment. It is a 99% French crowd here, but the English friends and family that have travelled, they are about to be mobbed down in the corner. Now, this is something the England players do, and whenever they win the Six Nations, it's sort of an on-running joke that they put the trophy on the head, and there's a song that goes with it, I believe along the lines of, she's got the Six Nations trophy on her head, and that gag will continue for some time here, so high time for us to head back to studio.
Oui. Les supporters, vous les voyez, elles sont débutées leur tour d'honneur, parce que vous avez été exceptionnels, toutes et tous, cet après-midi ici, au stade Jean Daugé. Les joueuses de l'équipe de France qui continuent leur tour d'honneur, qui vont venir à votre...
Well, they're just making their way now, still with us here in Bayonne, as the England players go and have their official photos taken round the corner.
Are we in studio now?
They're really, really enjoying that moment. And we'll head back down to pitch side and Sonia.
Now, we will go to Sonia in just a moment when the players have finished celebrating and passing that trophy around and putting it on their heads, which none of us here know the tune to She's Got the Six Nations trophy on her head. Maggie said it was a bit after your time, was it, this tradition?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think that trophy would fit on my head. I've got quite a big head, so I don't think they'll have that song if it was
big trophy there.
It's a big trophy, yeah.
That's the quote of the day. Wonderful scenes there, though. And, you know, for the French players, obviously, it's a time to celebrate the end of a great campaign with family and friends, and to see the French crowd staying as well, really important. It's tough going to France, Katie, to play international rugby, and when you win on French soil, it must feel very sweet indeed, your main rivals.
It really is, and Maggie touched on it about the psychology of that. You know, we've got France in a World Cup group, and it's going to be a huge game, but you've got to just keep making those little marks in the sand, and that's what England did today. Yes, it wasn't their best performance, and we could argue that France didn't really turn up. But all that does is when England come to play them in the group in that World Cup, they've got that mental edge, and they've got abundance of mental edge, because there's been 3-4 games previously where England might have been slightly closer, but England have edged it. And I think that's a real huge thing for France to deal with over the summer.
And they will take, as you say, those mental strengths from those periods of the game today where they really rode the storm, didn't they? There were a few that we kind of put together here where it was really important to come away from those periods without conceding anything.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the defence being in one of those big areas, and at one point there was a close point where England had to really, you know, almost weather the storm. You know, they had a yellow card against them where Zoe Harrison went for the ball. England had 10 minutes just to hold it out, and look, they did so well. The set piece, Ward and Allcroft were both phenomenal and had a presence. And again, it's just trying to have that defensive effort, trying to come out the line. Look, here, I should keep an eye on Skaz. She makes a fantastic try-saving tackle, comes out of nowhere. Again, England's defence and being able to recognise when there's a gap between their two players, trying to watch the fact that there's an opportunity to close them down. Bullard does so well. Look, she almost sees the space in front of her, but Scarrett coming out of nowhere, making that phenomenal tackle. Look, England did very well just to stay in the game, but once they weathered that first 10 minutes, almost you felt like they were they were never going to let go again.
But even when the gap was 21-14, England were desperate to hold on to that scoreline and not allow France into the game at all. Well, you know, we saw with those last-ditch tackles, which is really great effort from a team, as I said before, that have had 6 days to recover, injuries in them as well. The energy levels are high. The fitness programme that they're obviously on, the S&C, is showing, isn't it, there?
Yeah, and that's what you want, isn't it? You want to know that the things you're doing in training translate into the game, and that's what we saw from England today. I thought, like Maggie touched on, there was some moments there that actually softer teams, they concede and England concede, but actually Emily Scarrett there has come from an outside edge. She's probably come 20, 30 metres, tracked Boulard down and taken her 5 metres short of the line. And the bits you don't see after it is the flood post that. How many girls then get inside, they get into a defensive line, and that eventually is forcing an error, and England get the ball. And for me, they're moments that when you're looking at squads that are going to go on to win World Cups, that's what they're built on. They're built on your defensive efforts that really kind of change moments of the game.
They will face France, of course, in the pool stages of the World Cup in New Zealand. And this France team have got sparks and moments of brilliance, and the style of rugby, the brand that they're trying to adopt and they're honing, will only get better, won't it? You know, they play a different style to England.
They do. Look, they're very much around offloading. Me and Katie were talking about it during the game. You know, they like to try and get behind the defence and look for that small offload. A couple of times today, it didn't really come off. But if it had, you know, I think they definitely would have got a couple of tries in this game. But for France, they need to keep working on that. You know, and you do sort of wonder what their next sort of warm-up games are going to be like, so they can really test that. But if they get it right, I truly believe this French side can beat England, and they've got to now wait until October the 15th before that game can come about.
OK, let's get some more reaction then from Bayonne, Sonia McLaughlin.
Many congratulations to both of you. That's very shiny, isn't it?
Ain't it just?
Marley Packer and Mo Hunt are with us from this exuberant and very, very, very clever England team. What does it mean to you right now to be Grand Slam champions?
I think everything, like the hard work that all the girls are putting, the girls that are here, the girls that aren't here, the staff as well, been absolutely sensational. We're going to be losing some of them after this tournament, so, you know, we've all brought in together, and this is what our main goal was, and we've come out of it, and what a performance we put on today.
Yeah. Mo, it got a bit nervy, didn't it, towards the end, because France edged that second half?
No, not at all. I think it wasn't nervy. It was one of those that we knew that we had complete control in the game. I think those 3 points settled us because it wasn't just a 2-try game. Obviously, Emily Scarrett's boot, she was exemplary today, and that took a lot of pressure off, which was amazing. But we knew that we had the game. It was just about trying to finish on top. Like, we were a little bit loose. We let a few balls down that we just wanted to turn the screw a little bit. So we were a bit gutted about that. But yeah, for me, I just came on. I was trying to put it as far into the crowd as I could.
I mean, it's incredible always playing in France, but you've got a small pocket of people up there that everybody's cheering to, a small little group. I mean, how important is it to do that here in front of your fans?
It's massive. Like, it's everything. I think Lyd said it in the warm-up. We started coming around, we were being booed literally everywhere we went, and for me, I love it. Like, I know Marley's the same. She absolutely thrives in environments like this, but yeah, it's a massive statement for us going to the World Cup.
Can you just explain to me this tradition about what happens when you stick the trophy on your head? Poppy, stay here. When you stick this trophy on your head and sing, what's that all about, Poppy?
Yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. We just did it once, but all I really want to say is, in the words of Molly McCann, I just want a bevy lad.
And mic drop.
Short and to the point. I mean, look, what sort of platform does this give you 6 months out from a Rugby World Cup?
I think massive, to be fair. Like, France are in our pool in the World Cup, but hey, we got a long time now. All these girls will go back to the league, in the Allianz League next week, and there's some really big games to be played there. Obviously, Saracens, we got Exeter next week. Still a big game, but we're at top of the table there. But look, it's massive. Like, we all want to be there in the league playing really well. Then we'll get a few weeks off to rest and recover, and then it'll be about pre-season again. Hey guys,
She's talking about pre-season.
Yeah, I'm talking about pre-season. Sorry.
Give the captain the microphone. How proud are you of these women in white jerseys?
Unbelievably proud. You know, you stand on the line, and unfortunately, like, injury stops you playing, but when they're as good as this, like, it makes it easy, and they've done an incredible job today. And like, I couldn't be any more proud to be a captain of this squad. Like, it's such a special team, and I'm very lucky to play a small part of that. And they were outstanding today, and yeah, they've done the job.
But you've played in a lot of England teams, Sarah. Just how special is this group of players? Because Simon Middleton always talks about there's so much more to come from this team. How much more?
Yeah, already I think some of the girls were like, oh, well, we didn't do this or we didn't do that, and it wasn't our best game. But you know, that's what makes this team special, is that we always want to do better the next time. And everyone's like fighting for a shirt, and we've got 3-4 depth in every position, but we're pushing each other. Yet you can see what it means to be part of this group and this team, is that we'll put our bodies on the line for one another, and we're as tight as anything to go and win Grand Slams. And our journey hasn't finished yet. We've got a lot of training to do, but we're on this journey to New Zealand, and there's something special about this group, but it's not going to come. Like, we can't rest on our laurels, and we can't expect to win a World Cup without going an extra mile, and this group will do that.
Quiet celebrations tonight, you know, early night, I don't know. Party. Marley Packer's up for a party, Gabby, and who can blame them?
I think the certain BBC reporter might be joining in as well. Great party mood, great party scenes there in Bayonne. There's a pub called the Katie Daly, apparently, in Bayonne as well, but you're here with us, and also pregnant with twins, so you're not going out tonight. But we can all celebrate a fantastic England campaign. Conceding 4 tries only to 45 scored is incredible. There are question marks about where the challenge is going to come from in the build-up, though, for England. Briefly, with the World Cup looming, are you concerned about that? They need some kind of competition this summer.
I am concerned about it because I think it does help build up your performance going into a World Cup. Potentially, they could ask Ireland, who are not going to a World Cup, would be a perfect challenge. Or maybe they might even compete against an under-20 side, who could potentially give them, as an men's side, who could give them another bit of challenge. So,
but a wonderful campaign, Katie.
Oh, by far. And, you know, like Emily touched on in the beginning of her interview as captain, all you can do is play what's in front of you. And the biggest thing for England there was to win a Grand Slam championship. Job done.
Thank you so much, Katie. Best of luck with the babies. Maggie as well. Congratulations to England. A 4th Grand Slam in 6 seasons. An impressive campaign in a World Cup year with record crowds and broadcast coverage. It has been a brilliant 2022 so far. All roads now lead to New Zealand.
Here we go, the 2022 Women's Six Nations.
Behave, Abby Dow! That is absolutely gorgeous! It's still Sarah Byrne going. Oh, what a score by Byrne. What a force of nature. Kildare out wide to Breach, still Breach. What a stunt, what a try. They just can't stop winning. And now only France is left in England's way. Winner takes all in the south of France. They don't care how they score tries as long as they score. England win, they take the Grand Slam and a 4th consecutive Six Nations title.